Hey, how's it going? So, a very special training for you today, which is how you can hit six figures fast in your business. This is something that I've done myself. It's something I've helped many of my clients do. And I believe this is something that you'll get value from if you are really pushing for that number, or maybe even you're getting close to that number, but you want to achieve it in a way that makes sense to you, makes fun in life, continues to scale your financials, but also in terms of how you feel about the way you build your business. So I don't like to kind of hang around. I know time is precious. I want to give you something useful, practical you can use immediately and go, man, that is going to make an improvement to my business. So let me get my slides up and ready. I'm going to share my screen and we'll dive right in. And of course, if you have any questions, I always like to give you the help that you need. So if there's something you don't understand, something you want me to cover again, or something you want to know, I've been doing this for a decade now. It's like a large part of my life. So chances are I can give you something direct, honest, base it on something actually happened for me in my life, and give you a great answer for progress in your business. There's no need to be stuck here. So let's go present, share screen, share. Perfect. There we go. So here are my slides, slideshow. We're good to go. So what it really takes to hit six figures in your business fast. It's an exclusive training. If you're here in the Facebook group, congratulations on being in the group. Nothing for sale here. I'm not going to ask you to like jump in and do this and do that. No, this is just me pouring value into you because I know that it would help. So please pay attention. I know sometimes people say free can be expensive, but I'm a proven source, and I'm going to give you some really good value, as you'll see. My trainings are very different to what you've normally experienced from other people. So who's this for? Ambitious online business owners that wants to hit six figures fast. If that's you, you're in the right place. If you're a network marketer, online coach, course creator, affiliate marketer, agency owner, I've had success massive in all of those areas, so I know that it works here. Driven to succeed in a professional, predictable way that isn't cringy at the risk of sounding like a 14-year-old teenage girl. But you know what I mean? Like there's some methods, yeah, you can get results, but you're like, oh, God, like, this is embarrassing. I don't want to do this method, but I need to do it to get the sales. Or soul crushing repetition, like 50 messages to this person, following up every 2 seconds, on the phone all the time, got to post every 2 seconds. I'm not going to teach you that. Also, someone who understands it's not only the money that you make, but the way you make the money that's important to you. Lots of ways to make lots of money in your business, but there's not very many that actually make sense to you in terms of your happiness, in terms of having a balance. That's what we're going to learn today. So what you're going to learn specifically, 3 things. Number 1, my clarity quarter method. Know exactly what you want and how to get it. Number 2, focus fusion, the 3 essential areas to focus on if you are serious about six figures. If you don't just want to watch a training and be like, oh, that was interesting. If you actually want to get six figures, that will be useful. And also the areas to start working in now. And then practical application. Got a whole section on proving the point that people say knowledge is power. That's rubbish. They just don't know what they're talking about, because all knowledge is potential, and potential means nothing unless you apply it. The application of knowledge is power. So if you want the slides for these as well, by the way, I make them available. All you need to do is comment slides underneath this training, and I will send those over to you in a direct message. Again, there'll be nothing to buy, nothing to opt in for. I'll literally just send you the share link to my Google Drive, so you can just click make a copy, and now you've got these exact slides. So if you want to write your own notes on these afterwards for implementation, to review, I can take care of you with that again for free. First of all, if this is one of your first trainings experience of mine, why listen to me? Well, I passed over 1 million views on YouTube, over 500,000 downloads on my podcast. I was in network marketing. I was the #1 international income earner, sponsoring hundreds of people, building high-performing teams. And then I took those skills and I turned those into multi-six-figure businesses in online courses and coaching, affiliate sales. I even tried my hand at agency, which I don't do anymore. We still had good success with there for about a year, whilst living my best life. And I've also, it's not just about me, what's the point in me just getting results? These are from my website, result after result after result after result of people following my strategy, following my training, and getting fantastic results. I've interviewed, you see a whole list there of people I've interviewed who've got results as well as on my website. And then we did this while living my best life. And I'm not going to go through like 1 million photos here. I want to ask you to think about what kind of photos you would want to put yourself, your family, the people you love into, like mine. because it's a reality when you're doing six figures. You can do things and go places perhaps that seem out of reach right now. So we went to Lapland, my daughter Ava, my wife Rachel there, Northern Lights in Norway, swimming in the Marina Bay Sands in Singapore, Bali, Paris, Times Square. My wife and I got married in New York in Central Park. We took our daughter back on our 10-year anniversary to show us where we got married. Something really cool we love to do. I don't know if you're a parent or not. I am, obviously. And I never had a father growing up. Didn't see him for 17 years. There was always an empty seat whenever there was something going on at school. I'd look, everyone else's parents is there, but not mine. And I felt that. And I felt that hole. And when I became a father, I wanted to fill that hole and make sure that hole never opened up for my daughter. So I managed to go to everything, do everything because of what I've done, the methods that I'm going to give you a taste of today. And something really cool we do, when my daughter does something at school for history, we go see it for real. So we're in Berlin there. We've been to like Athens. We've been to Pompeii. We've done really cool historical things around the world so my daughter could actually experience it for real. Went to a lake north of Milan to watch airplanes land on the water. We just fancied doing that. Positano, one of the most beautiful places on earth. You know, you see these like Greek myths, you know, and Zeus came from the mountains. When you're there, you're like, I actually believe that could happen here. It literally looks like some kind of god or like, you know, being has carved out this place in the side of these mountains. Disney in Florida, really wanted to go and take my daughter to Disney when she was young enough to appreciate that. We did, thankfully. We've got our dream home. I'm actually in that home right now in my office here. You know, something really important to me was to provide the kind of environment where, you know, we could have happy memories. I don't know if you can see through the bottom there, we've got a beautiful view and fields. We have a lovely sized home. It's very homely. There's lots of features in it. It's a former barn, so there's beams, there's high ceilings, and, you know, just lots of space to. I never had that growing up. I always felt a little bit embarrassed about, can I bring people around to my home? And then before I was successful in business, our home was so small, we just couldn't really host. How can you create memories if you can't have your friends around? So I was really proud to be able to do that for our family. You can see there at the bottom of the garden, we've got beautiful views to the fields. It's just a lovely place. And you make some amazing friends. When you become successful, reaching six figures and beyond, you start to get attention. You start to make great friendships with industry leaders. Those people there are fantastic friends and fantastic people in our industry. Go and do cool stuff. You know, behind the camera there were cheesy. I always have a cheesy grin anyway, but behind the camera is all my daughter's classmates. Because I got to go and be like a helper / not teacher, but parent helper on her final sort of field trip residential in primary school. She's now just moved to secondary school. This was a few months ago. We went on this trip. It was fantastic. Got to know the kids better. It was wonderful to be able to do that. Climbing down mountains on that trip. Just me at the beach. That's Monterosso in Italy. That is Manolo, I believe. Beautiful place. Looks like a green screen. It's not. It's just a breathtaking place. Built big teams, messed around, become friends with people I used to just watch. Company magazines, six-figure businesses, leaderboards, countless results. Okay, countless results. So hopefully I've, in the last couple of minutes, proven that, yes, I know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's look at getting and keeping you on the path to your dream life with this training. As promised, Clarity Quarter method is up first. What is that? Well, this is where you play along, okay? Business success, six figures, is not a spectator sport. I was going to tell you straight. I'm not here to sell you anything other than your success. So some people will get you on a training. They'll try and like squeeze you into what they believe, and like just because at the end they're like, oh, and you can buy that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you straight though. I'm not here for popularity. I'm here to help you get profit. I'm not going to rub you. If you want back pat, belly rub, you go elsewhere. If you follow me, if you work with me, if whatever, anything to do with me, I give it to you straight. This is what it takes to win. Take it or leave it. Okay. So 1 year from now, you need to be participating in this now. What would be a dream come true for you? So some of those photos that I showed you, I saw them before I was in them, if that makes sense. I saw this home. I spent 2 years looking for this home on Rightmove, which is a property website here in the UK. Where can I buy that's got everything that I want? I wanted a wraparound garden. I wanted it to back onto fields, no one overlooking us. I wanted it to be in an area where there was forest and nature. You know, we see deers here, foxes, hares, all sorts of things. I wanted space. I wanted high ceilings, character. You know, there's lots of things specifically. So when I closed my eyes and I thought about myself in the future, I would visualize getting up in this home, opening my eyes and seeing beams above me, looking out the window and seeing the sunrise over fields. I saw this house before so I knew. Second I pulled up outside here and I walked through the door, I was like, this is it. This is it. I bought it that same week. So 1 year from now, what would your dream come true? What would it look like? Where would you be opening your eyes? Maybe your relationship isn't great right now. Do you look at your partner and realize you've improved that relationship? Do you see somebody else? There seems to be a minimum of 6 figures. That's what we're here for. So think about a 6-figure lifestyle. What's that mean to you? What kind of property would you live in? Where in the world would you be? What would you do when you woke up? I want you to go through that in your mind. What would your dream day be? Car are you driving if you like cars? You know, like I like a decent car. I'm not like, I don't know if I want a Ferrari or something like that. I have an Audi SQ5. So it's quite fast. It's a 3-litre twin turbo, but it's quite modest to look at. There's no like big spoilers and things on it. So I like, I don't know. I like things that I feel like I am, like a wolf in sheep's clothing, like modesty. I'm not really big on walking into a room and like taking over and being brash and forcing other people out. I'd rather observe a little bit and feel self-confident that the power in that car is there if I need it. But if you're into cars, go, hey, want a Lamborghini? If that's important to you, go at it. If you had that picture on your wall as a kid, make it a reality, right? What does it mean to you? Do you not even care about cars? Is it more about giving to charity? I don't know. You can do both. So think about what that would look like for you. And then I want you to know what that monthly financial requirement will be. Those things aren't free. What's the mortgage? What's the car payment? What's the, what you want to do? If you're retiring yourself and someone else from a job, well, what do you need to replace that? So maybe you come back and do this a little bit later. Maybe you're taking some notes now, download these slides and write, fill in the spaces on here later, figure out that exact monthly requirement. And then I want you to break it down into quarters. Now for 6 figures, I've gone to 120 grand here to give you a bit of a buffer. Okay. But you may have a different amount. You may have, 280,000, by the end of a year, in total. It may be like 15 grand a month. It may be 30 grand a month. I don't know. But we want to be going for a minimum of 6 figures in relation to this training. So if I was to break the quarters down to 6 figures, by month 3, so whatever month it is now, 3 months from now, you'd need to be at an additional, 2,500 a month coming in. By 6 months, you'd need 5 grand a month coming in. 9 months, 7.5. And by 12 months, you've got 10 grand coming in per month. You're now at 120 grand a year. You've definitely gone to 6 figures. You've got a 20 grand buffer there. So look at your numbers, break them into quarters, and 3, 6, 9, 12, write those monthly figures down that you'd have to be at to be on track to hit that 12-month goal a year from now. Sounds stupidly simple because it is, but it's also powerful. What gets measured gets done. What gets measured gets done. If you want to form new habits, one of the most important parts of a habit is the trigger. What triggers you to change your behavior? What triggers you to do what you do? For example, if you wanted to learn the guitar, if you stick your guitar out the way in the spare bedroom and you never see it, there's no real trigger for you to actually spend time doing that. So you'll do whatever's easier. But if you take that guitar and you put it in the center of your living room and all the family and you can see it, how much more likely are you to at least pick it up and have 5 or 10 minutes? Miles more. You've created a trigger. And this is what I'm doing with you with this Clarity Quarter method. I'm giving you a target that you want to hit, so we can admit that for the first time. But also, if we look at the next step, I want you to attach an external public pressure goal for accountability, the trigger. So the way I've done this in the past is I love to travel, as you've seen. So most of those trips that you saw on those slides previously were made possible by me, first of all, making them a public goal with my family. Where do we want to go next? I want to swim in that pool, Daddy, on top of that hotel that we saw on YouTube. That's the Marina Bay Sands in Singapore. It ain't cheap, but it's a goal. So let's put that down. Little chart, how much I'm going to have to make by month 3, month 6 to get there. And then we color that in. The whole family sees what I'm doing or not doing and how close we are getting to making that a reality. So I used to give financial figures to travel, to destinations, to experiences, and then make those public in our household. And then that way there's pressure on me, and I like that. You may not, it's up to you. But if you want to be a six-figure earner, you've got to behave like one. A little bit of pressure is something you need to be able to handle. If you're trying to avoid all aspects of pressure, you're not built for this game. You should try something less pressured, okay? Because you're going to have to handle some level of pressure. It should excite you. You should see it as an opportunity to succeed, not another opportunity to fail. Start to back yourself a little bit more. Give yourself that accountability. You know what? Even if I fell short, I'd be a damn sight closer than if I didn't do it in the first place. Even if you don't play that guitar every single day, you may play it 3 times a week, which is 3 more than you were doing. So you'll get a lot closer by doing this. It's up to you if you do it. Is every aspect of your life, the final thing on Clarity Quarter Method before we go to 2 more important areas, is every aspect of your life and business congruent, as in it feeds, it complements with your ultimate desires that we just laid out, or maybe you lay out later? Because I'm telling you now, if you see yourself in that vision, when I ask you to think about a year from now, and you see yourself working out and you see yourself in great shape, and that makes a difference to your confidence and communication and business, well then, if you're eating junk food 3 times a week, that is not congruent. It needs to go. Well, how does what I eat make a difference to my financial? It makes all the difference. People rarely have pure professional problems. They have personal problems that show up in their profession. Very rare is it purely about like the business, something external to you. Everywhere you go, there you are. So take a look. If you're serious, if you're not, you can fob this off. You can make excuses. You'll be exactly where you are right now a year from now. But if you want to actually make a difference, then you need to start looking in the areas of your life that you're uncomfortable to look at and shine a bright light on them and say, I'm dropping the ball there. That isn't in alignment with the kind of person that I want to be. Doesn't matter who you are now. It matters who are you becoming. Who are you becoming is what counts. So take a look at your habits. Take a look at areas of your life. Maybe you say, I want to be a confident leader. I want to have a big team. Well, if you're letting people push you around in multiple relationships, that's not going to happen, is it? We can't have the two will compete and cannibalize each other. So start to go and have conversations in those relationships and say to people, just to let you know, the way you're speaking to me is no longer acceptable, and deal with that, okay? You need to have these uncomfortable moments to grow. People put these quotes online all the time. All growth lies outside the comfort zone, and then they retreat back into their comfort zone, right? You got to be about what you say, right? So this is an exercise for you to perform. Write down the many areas of your life, like personal, professional, sleep, substances, relationships, like self-talk, all these things. How are you doing in those areas? Are they really feeding into this goal? Because I bet you a lot of them are like a ball and chain dragging you back. You can snip them free anytime you choose. Next aspect. I hope you're getting value so far. Focus, fusion. This is where you fuse together 3 areas of focus. Do you like that? Do you like what I did there? So these are the 3 areas you must focus on. And I'm going to cover some areas that I believe you should start working on right now. So the first area of focus fusion, the generation of qualified intent-based interest. Let me deconstruct that sentence. It is no good saying, I generate 50 leads a day. Well, some people define a lead as they gave me their email address or they responded back to my message. But is there any level of intention there? Like I see people all the time. One of my specialist areas is YouTube, right? With over 1 million views on there. And I have a lot of people say, such and such has got like 19,000 subscribers and they've got like, all these followers on social media and they get all these leads. And I'm like, yeah, but those leads are 14-year-olds, like watching their videos while they're doing this overly bouncy type strategy. Do you know what I mean? They're super over the top, super cheesy. Let me hire, some flash cars. Let me look like I'm living the life. I don't want you to focus more on looking successful. I want you to be successful, whatever that word means to you. So it's no good generating leads that make our ego feel good, that feed our ego. I'm popular. Yeah, but are you profitable? My inbox is full of high-level professionals who have got a great reputation, but aren't making that much money. And they come to me to fix that. And kudos to them for being brave, putting their ego aside, being brave enough for saying, I need some help. They know I'm going to keep that relationship private, but it takes something. It takes a real man or a real woman to say, you know what? I'm not right in that area. Let me get some help. So don't fall into that trap of being the one that looks successful but isn't, because you've got this popularity, but then there's no intention of those people to actually become clients, customers, or team members of yours. That's what counts in this game. You need to make a sale. So what I recommend for you to really kind of get some and generate some qualified interest is mix a passive and an active method. Now you can use the same type of method. I use YouTube. I use YouTube because I can use ads that are kind of active, although not really, but they're fast, and then passive because that builds and compounds. Like the organic strategies on YouTube compound over about a year, and then they set you up really, really nicely. The ads are for like immediate traffic. But whatever mix you want to make, like looking at that goal that you just set, how many qualified leads a day do you need? How much interest do you need? Like people, let's say you generate 10 leads, maybe you convert one. So how many leads you need to hit those goals? Start to have these answers. Be a business owner, be a professional. If you want those six-figure incomes, we can't act like 95% of your profession who aren't making that much money. We want to be in that 5%. We have to adopt the habits of a 5%er, which is knowing our numbers. So passive and active work together well. Passive is you put something out there, leads come to you. Active is you go out there and get the leads. These give you a combination of good growth. If there's no interest or it's the wrong type of interest, nothing else matters. I got the best 74-step funnel I've ever built, Richard. How many people see it on a daily basis? Well, 2 or 3, are they qualified? Well, no, I have to kind of convince them to look at the link, and I think they're just kind of, okay, well, then it's pointless. It's pointless, which brings us to point number 2. Once we focused on creating interest, well, it can't just sit there. We need to convert it effectively. So the effective conversion of that interest is focus fusion area number 2. How is your conversion mechanism, the mechanical aspect of your leverage business that says, I pour people in and sales come out, right? That's a conversion mechanism. How is it performing? Do you even have one? Or do you just kind of like have a sort of conversation and you see where it steers you, and before you know it, you're lost in the middle of a forest. You don't even know how you got there because you never followed a route. You never had a map. You never had even GPS. So is it repeatable without you? If you want to scale, if you're a network marketer, you want your team to do this. If you're a client, you're looking for clients, you probably want to have a team, sales reps, whichever industry you're in. You're not going to want to do it all forever. So you're going to have duplication, either that's within your staff or within your team. So is this repeatable without you? Do you have a mechanism, or are you the mechanism? That's not going to last. You're going to burn out. Do you know your numbers? If I say to you now, how much does it cost you to acquire a client or acquire a team member? And you go, what does that mean? I don't know. Well, then how can you scale? How could you possibly scale your business if you don't know what you can afford to spend? Like, I know how much it costs me to acquire a client. I know how much profit I make from that client. So everything I do in my marketing, because I know how much I'm worth per hour from the hours I put in the business and the profit I make. So I give my time an hourly amount. And I know in terms of advertising revenue, putting money in, I know how much I can afford to do that and be profitable. I can look at my methods and say, it's going to cost me this much time and all this much money. I know this is the profit I'm going to make. So shall I do that or not? And I can make an instant decision. And I can know where to scale and where the opportunities are and what I should kill. So you need to really think about that. Do you know that? If I said, okay, let's do an advertising campaign, it's going to generate leads at $10 a lead, you'd be like, you should say that'll be profitable for me, or no, it won't be. If you're like, well, is that good or not? I'll just try and make some sales. That's no good, not for a business. In terms of your conversion mechanism, if I was to give you some practical help, it needs to be personalized. So if you're putting out information that is for anyone that will take your service, that's wrong. You need a target market. It needs to present on your behalf. It needs to warm up the prospect. It needs to give them some initial presentation information so we're not wasting our time jumping on calls or whatever with unqualified people. It needs to be powerful. You need to move somebody emotionally. Okay, what is this going to do for them? What problem is it going to solve? What pain is it going to remove? What pleasure is it going to inject? It needs to be proof. You say this works, prove it. What did I do at the beginning of this training? Here's the results that I got, from my methods. Here's the results lots of other people have got using my methods. I proved it to you first so that you would pay more attention to everything I'm teaching you. And then it needs to be something that's present. It needs to be something that makes someone want to take immediate action. So with your conversion mechanism, take a look at those. Personalized, presents, powerful, proof, and present in the moment gets an immediate sale. Okay. Again, you can take the slides. So if I've gone a bit quick for you there, just comment beneath it and I'll send you a copy of these. You can do what you want, write what notes, print them out, stick them all over the place, whatever you want to do. So the next area of Focus Fusion, the final area before I take a look and see if anyone's on here live asking questions, is systemizing 1 and 2. You will never be free if you manually generate and convert the interest. So 1 and 2 of generating and converting interest, there needs to be some kind of systemization within those. You need to have passive leads, for me, that go to a community. There's 2 ways that you can do this. Passive leads to a community, and you could have group admins. So you could set up a Facebook ad campaign, which I do. And then also I have YouTube ads and YouTube organic and a podcast. They point towards a community, which is like the new sales funnel. They're replacing sales funnels rapidly and getting better conversions, not just up front, but then over time as well. Anyway, that's a training for another day. You can have a group admin in there. So what does that mean? Well, it means if your leads are being generated passively and you have an admin to take care of those in there, you just made yourself in a really cool way relevant. Okay, you just turn up and do the fun stuff. You can have passive leads that go to a VSL funnel, and you can have either immediate sign up if it's fully automated. I used to do this. I used to have fully automated products and services someone would buy on the presentation, or you can have a sales rep. So again, if the leads are being generated passively and they're going into a VSL funnel and they either sign up without you or they're signing up by asking questions or having a Zoom call with a sales rep, then again, you are completely removed from having to do those things. And yet still your business will grow and you can still be the face of it. You can still put some posts on social media. You can still do your videos, your content, just the stuff you enjoy, and just hand the rest of it off. Okay. And if you want to know, well, passive leads, how do I get leads to come to me, Richard? How do I generate this interest? 100% my recommendation would be YouTube. It is the platform right now to be on. There's so many reasons I could give you. In fact, if you want a video that lays out, those, I may upload this training to YouTube. Usually I keep it just in the group. If I've uploaded it to YouTube, I'll try and I think I can put on the screen right now, like a link to another video, or it will be on the end screen. It will be at the end of the video, the last 20, 30 seconds. I'll put that video on there. That's on YouTube. It's a longer video that dives into my YouTube strategy. So if you want to see that, you can watch that for free. Again, no need to opt in. That is a training, and I'll probably put it in the top comment. I'll put it in the top comment as well. So on here in my group, and then on YouTube, I'll put that link in the top comment so you can go and access that video. It's on YouTube and it's free. Practical application. So what do we want to cover right now? This final leg on this training is it's no good having that knowledge. We need to apply that knowledge. So for me, there are over 10,000 incorrect combinations on a 4-combination lock. The ones you scroll 0 to 9, usually put them on suitcases when you're traveling. There's over 10,000 incorrect combinations. If you at all struggle with staying focused, if there are at all any gaps in your knowledge, if you ever find yourself having to Google or YouTube around, if you get distracted, if you're not confident in your method, so you bounce to other different methods along, get a coach. It's so much cheap. It's not cheap, but it's less expensive than failure. Like coaches, good coaches are you may say expensive. I disagree. That's a definition. But being broke or like not being happy, not fulfilling your potential, feeling stuck, stressed out, wasting time, they are way more expensive things. Making excuses for yourself for why you haven't got the results that you wanted, watching other people pass you by, live the life you should, that is really expensive and painful. So get a coach. Get a coach who's got the results you want, use this methods that you want to learn, and you've got a track record of other people getting results too. Because it's just so much easier to go to someone and say, I'm thinking of them doing this, and them saying, don't do that, here's why. And you go, you just saved me 6 months, right? Literally 6 months of my life from that one little question. And they'll be like, here's the game plan to follow for the results you want. You can spend 5 or 6 years figuring it out. Why not get the results now and then enjoy the next 5 or 6 years? Still going to be your work, still going to be your results, but just get the reward now. Anyway, you want to be a submarine versus a ship. What is a ship versus a submarine? The ship is on top of the waters. Other people's opinions, negativity, doubt, Anyone says anything, whoa, easy up and down, at the beck and call and will of other people's emotions. Be a submarine, a little bit below the surface, nice and smooth. You know who you are. You know where you're going. You know you've got the methods and the help to get there. So what is there to not be confident about? I know exactly where I'm going in my life. I monitor this stuff. Like I love playing the game of business and the game of life. I find it, sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's hard, but it's all a learning process. I'm learning more about myself all the time, more about the industry, I'm getting better and better at helping other people accomplish their goals, even though I've been coaching for now 20 odd years, always getting better. Life is fun when there's progress, but something I've allowed myself to do is let go of other people's opinions of me. I keep a very small circle. I invest heavily in my education. So I have a coach too. I have my family, my wife and my daughter. I listen to those people. Everyone else, if they want to volunteer an opinion, that's their business, not mine. So be a submarine. So your life is a lot smoother. You don't have to be up and down with other people's emotions. Decide, make a decision. What do you really want to be? What do you really want to achieve? You want 6 figures? Well, let's make a plan, which I've given you some help on today to make that happen. Know everything. You should know how you're going to generate the leads, how you're going to convert them. What does that look like? How do you scale that? You need to know these things, or you're never going to get anywhere. You're literally going to bounce around from method to method to method and end up chasing your tail. So decide, get a plan in place, implement, review and adjust. That's success right there. Now, of course, you need some meat on those bones. Or for me, some vegetarian sausage meat on those bones, being a vegetarian since I was a kid. But you get my gist. You make a decision, get a plan in action. That's probably where your coach comes in. Implement that plan so you don't need to bother looking at everything else because you're like, I know this is the plan to get me there. And then as you go, review what worked, what didn't, what should I adjust, and go again, go again, go again. That's how you get success. What do you feed yourself with? There's some things to stop. Like social media, are you a consumer or a producer? You say you build your business on social media. I know for a fact the majority of people out there are not building their business on social media. They are hanging out on social media, letting it wash over them and doing a few messages and a few follow-ups. That is not the same. That is not building a business. If you're building a business on social media, you should be advertising on there. You should have some kind of funnel set up within social media. Your content should be mapped out. Like I have a content strategy for social media. What am I going to post and when? So I can be free in my normal life, right? I have, there's tactics that go into these things that I teach clients. Listen, rotate your subjects around these. This is how you should post. This is what you should not do. Like these things need to be taken care of. Like what are you feeding yourself with? So if you're on social media and you're scrolling and you're getting dragged around and indecisive, stop doing that. What are you on there for? What's going to happen if you stop going on social media? I think everybody thinks the world will end. Oh, I've only been on Facebook for 30 minutes a day. Who said there's a minimum requirement? What a stupid attitude. Like, I can't believe the way the world has got these days with social media. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I have no time to spend with my kids, but I know what Sheila around the corner did last Thursday in Marbella. Who gives a crap? Like, at the end of your life, no one's going to say, oh, remember the summer of 2023 when you got 500 more likes than usual? Who cares? Like, it really baffles me, this obsession that people have with the need to be liked and approved by complete strangers about things that are usually artificial or exaggerated anyway. What is even the point in it? Like, I really don't get that. So if that's something you're doing, just stop doing that. Do what I've done. Take it off your phone. Oh, but how will I build a business? Well, it'll actually force you to do some real work, because you can't pretend that you worked by scrolling through people's posts, because that ain't work. So, like I said, I'm not here to pat your back and rub your belly. I'm a direct guy, and I speak to you how I speak to myself. So I hope that's shook you a little bit. Go look on your digital balance. I'm all right, me, Richard. Do look at your digital balance and look at the apps that you use on a daily basis. And when you finish crying, realize there's a problem and fix it. Review, adjust, implement. Okay? Some of the things to stop, like hanging around with the wrong people. You may be afraid to tell the truth, but like if you really do want to go places in life, you've got to start becoming serious about this like a professional. In fact, I think I've got one more slide here. Yes. Imagine you have been hired to market a brand and you're being paid 150K. How would you behave if they were watching your actions, if you were in an office, right? And they saw what you were doing on your laptop and there was a camera in the office. So at work, people got to see how you behaved. What would you do if a brand came to you and said, hey, 150 grand a year, we're going to review you every couple of months, and we can add another zero to that if you do well. We can literally pay you 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures. If you bring the sales in from your marketing, your money's just going to go to the sky. You'd be like, right, what would you think? Opportunity here, opportunity. What am I going to do? I'm going to get organized. I'm going to make a plan. You don't do these things in your own business, yet you want to earn that kind of money. I want to be a 6 and 7 figure earner, Richard, but I want to behave like an amateur. That's not congruent. It's not going to work. You're paid exactly what your actions dictate. Like your current actions, you've got to ask yourself, is there more practical work for you to do? Your current actions, are they aligned with how you would behave if someone else was paying you their money 6 figures? They're not going to be. You'd be at 6 figures by now. And if not, how do you expect to reach that income level? Like this is some things where you can figure out, what should I not do anymore? What should I do? What would I do if I was in an office getting paid a bunch of money? I'd behave this, I'd do that, research the audience, I'd put this plan. There's lots of things that you can think about. And, you're not doing them in your own business. So, which baffles me. And like I said, if you want these slides, comment slides below this video, and I will send those over to you in a direct message. If you've got any interest, any questions, you want to know about my program, you've got questions about your business, let me know. I am happy to help. And I'm going to throw it open to the questions now. So let's stop the screen. There we go. Anybody got any questions? Anybody got any questions? I think I've been quite detailed there, so perhaps not. Hey, I see some of you on here live. How's it going? I know I didn't give you a heads up that I was going to be live again. I keep saying I'm going to let you know so you can jump on. But instead, I just keep jumping on here when I've got some time. But I believe I am going to record this one, and I am going to put it on YouTube. So to give you access for people who aren't in my group, you can get access to this training for the first time. So no questions coming in, which is cool. Means you've got a plan. You've got some things to be getting on with. Everything we've just covered, lots of work to be done, lots of deep work, immersive work, the work that makes a difference. Maybe uncomfortable, but this is the work that needs to be done if you're serious about 6 figures and beyond. So as I always say, go create a day in a life that counts. Always have more desires than excuses. I hope this training has served you well. Like I mentioned, if you want to take a closer look at that YouTube training that I've got, that's free too. It's in the top comment. I'll stick a link to my group in there as well. And if you've got any other questions, just stick them in the comments. I do check on them every day or two, so I will get back to you personally. Have a fantastic day. I hope this has got a lot of value for you. Feel free to share it on your social media. Put it in the eyes and ears of anyone it will help. Let's get people living their dream lives, doing what they should be doing, reaching their potential, and giving them the tactics to make that a reality. Have a good one, and bye for now.